Students, today we will see the ogives, that is the graphs, and from the graphs we will try and find the median and the quartiles. You already know what is median and quartiles. It was taught to you last time, and in those we did not use any graph. So now when you are using graph, you have only a simple formula. The odd formula is same, but when sigma f or n is even, then you don't have that lengthy formula n by 2 and n by 2 plus 1, those terms. You just have to use these formulae. So for finding lower quartile, which we know is 1/4 or 25%, so there you use, if n is odd, then it is the value of n plus 1 upon 4th term, and if n is even, you will directly use n by 4th term, the value of the n by 4th term. So let's say if n is 100, then it will be the 25th term's value. It won't be 25, the lower quartile will be 25th term's value. Similarly, if n is 99, then again you will do 99 plus 1, or again it will be the 25th term's value. So using graphs or quartiles, the answers may vary slightly from individual to individual, because this graph, the shape of the curve that is drawn, can slightly vary from individual to individual. There won't be huge variation. For example, if someone has got a more median as 46 answer, 46 rupees, someone else may get it as 45 or 47. So that sort of minor variation could be there, basically because everyone won't draw the exact same curve. The curve, the shape will vary slightly from one student to another student. So the answers will be approximate. Now here median, that means 50% of the middle term. So and if it is odd, like you have 99, then you will take n plus 1 upon 2 term. So it will be 99, that means 100 upon 2 of the value of the 50th term. Same way, if it is even, then directly you will use n by 2. Again it would be value of 100 by 2 or 50th term. Same way, upper quartile or 75% of the data. So it is 3 by 4 n plus 1 term. So if it is 99, it will be the 3 by 4th of 100. 99 plus 1 is 100. So it would be 75th term's value. So same way, in this case, it would be directly 3n by 4th term. That is if n is even. Now next you have interquartile range, Q3 minus Q1. So whatever value you got here, minus whatever value you got here, those two values, it is not 75 minus 25. It will be 75th term's value minus the 25th term's value. So that answer will be Q3 minus Q1. So you see the standard notations. Lower quartile is denoted by Q1, median by Q2, upper quartile by Q3, interquartile is Q3 minus Q1, and semi-interquartile will be Q3 minus Q1 upon 2. So same way, even also the same formula, but of course to find Q3 and Q1 you use the slightly different formula. So these are the formulae. So you can note this down in the first page of your next page of your graph book, because after this we will be doing sums, a few examples. This is very simple and it's very difficult to get this wrong except for some very silly addition mistakes. So once you have learned 3-4 graphs, this ogives, that 6 marks is in your pocket in the board exam. Every school exam in terminals, in the prelims, everything, you will have one ogives compulsory in section 2. It is not a compulsory question, it is in section 2, but it comes each and every board paper. So now one thing which you should note in ogives. In ogives, when we plot the graph, we will be taking the upper limit of the class interval as the x coordinate and the cumulative frequency as the y coordinate. What is that? We will come to know very shortly when we do the first graph. Main thing is you are taking cumulative frequency. So because you are taking the cumulative frequency, the graph will always be an ascending graph. The graph goes up and up. It will never ever come down like this. It will not go down anywhere because cumulative frequency of any next class will be more than the previous class. So that is why the values will go on increasing as the class increases. You will never get a graph which goes up and down or which goes down. It can never go down. If it is going up and down, that means you have plotted upper limit with frequency. That is wrong. That is something that sometimes some students don't practice it. I know many of you don't want to take the graph book and draw and practice. So because of that, they make mistakes. So if the graph ever goes anywhere down and up, that means you have made the mistake of not taking the cumulative frequency, but plotting upper limit with the frequency instead of cumulative frequency. All these ogives are known as less than ogives. So all of them are called less than ogives. What does it mean by less than ogives? I will explain when I do the first sum. That is the next classwork sum. So this is simple. Remember, these are all less than ogives. So in your test exam or anywhere, if you come across the word draw a less than ogive, don't get confused. It's the normal ogive. There is only one ogive what you are supposed to draw. That is by plotting upper limit of class interval with cumulative frequency, and that is known as less than ogive. You don't have any other ogive in your syllabus. So we will go on to the next sum. So on page 52, the sum on top, it is numbered question 7, but actually it should be question 8. So correct it, it is given wrong. The next question is question 9. So we are actually doing question 8, even though on top of page 52 it is numbered as 7. So what are the columns you have to draw? Now in your exam, this has to be shown along with the other workings in your main answer sheet. So all this would be shown in the main answer sheet, and that graph has to be drawn in the graph paper. So both the places you will write the correct question number and sub question number. That is very important. Graph can be tied at the end. You can tie it in between besides this, or you can even tie the graph at the end of the answer sheet. So either way it is okay. Question number should be written clearly along with sub question number both here in the main answer sheet as well as on the graph. The first two columns that you make is exactly identical to what is given in your question paper. In this case on page 52. Wages in rupees, that is the class interval. Frequency F, that is the number of workers. But now we have to find the cumulative frequency. So cumulative frequency 12, 20 plus 12 32, 32 plus 30 62, 62 plus 38 100, 100 plus 24 124, 124 plus 16 140, 140 plus 12 152, 152 plus 12 160. So here this last number that you get, that is your sigma F or N. It is 160. So actually in the sum there are a total of 160 workers. So it is even. The data is even. Most of your sums you will have even number of data. So this column has to be very carefully done. One mistake anywhere here in addition. Some students do make it by mistake. So one mistake here, your entire graph goes wrong and all the answers below will go wrong. So you have to be very careful when you make the cumulative frequency table. And after that, like I told you before, the points to plot will be upper limit of class interval with the cumulative frequency. So for this class, the upper limit is 10. Cumulative frequency is 12. So 10 comma 12. So I am plotting, when I draw the graph, the x-axis is cumulative in the class interval, and on y-axis is the cumulative frequency of number of workers. I need to write the scale. If I don't write the scale and if I don't show this class interval wages in rupees x-axis and cumulative frequency number of workers on y-axis, if I don't show this, I lose marks. So scale is most important. What you have taken on x and y axis to show that, that is also very important. So the first point is 10 comma 12. I have called it as point A. Some school teachers insist that you have to write A, B, C, D, E, F, and then once you draw the graph, you will plot this as A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H. So you will mark it as that. Some other teachers say you can directly write the coordinates there, and some other teachers are okay. I suggest that you write it as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, because writing the full coordinates there may make the diagram little untidy. But it is okay even if you write the coordinates or you call it A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So now the first point, before you plot the points, just have a look at the scale. The x-axis is fine, 2 centimeter is 10. So you will be getting the 2 centimeter or the thicker graphs. Some of you would have had journals in 9th standard and previous year in which you had the thicker graph. So that is the graph that is usually given in the board exam. So always it is the 2 centimeter graph. So now y-axis you have to take the scale very carefully. Now when you take the scale on the y-axis, you have to first have a look at CF, that is the sigma F on N. It is 160. So now if you take 2 centimeter is 10, it will not fit, because you should know that there are 10 2 centimeter lines on y-axis, and at the most there will be 10 class intervals of 10 each on the x-axis. So you should have a sense of how many lines are there maximum in your graph. So 2 centimeter, you have to take it as 20. If you take 2 centimeter as 10 on the x-axis, it will not fit beyond 100. So that is why take an appropriate scale. The scale should be not so small that you should not take, someone should not take 50. So then in that case your graph will get over in 3 lines. So that is not acceptable. Again, there are marks for drawing the graph and also for finding the values which are asked. So first point here, y-axis, you are taking 2 centimeter as 20. So between 2 centimeter, there are 10 small lines. So if 10 small lines add up to 20, that means each line, each small line in between will be 2. So one small line is 2, the next one is 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 will happen exactly at the center of 0 and 20. Then 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. So each small line in this particular scale on the y-axis represent 2 workers. So each small line represents 2 workers. Now someone may ask, why are we doing all this? How is it going to help? Like in mathematics, statistics is widely used to represent data. Even when you see the news or when you see a cricket match, they show how many runs were scored, or they show the bar graph, or they show ogives to see how the runs were accumulated. So all this is very commonly used in maths and in presentations. So now here, first point that you have plotted is 10, 12. So 10, 12 would mean x-axis 10, 12 is 6 2s. So 6 small lines above 0, that will be 12. Then 20, 32. 20, 32 will be 6 lines above 20. So 32 is 6 lines above 20. Then 62, 30, 62. So 30 is easy. 60 and one small line above 60 is 62. 40 with 100 an exact point. So 40 with 100. 50 is plotted with 124. So once you take 120, after you take 120, two small lines above 120 will be 124. Then 60 with 140. 60 and 140 exact points. 70 with 152. 70, 152 will be 6 lines above 140. And 80 with 160. 80, 160. So this is what I told you. Your cumulative frequency graph will be an ascending graph. Now you are not supposed to use ruler. You have to draw a freehand curve and join the points. So you will draw the curve like this. So that is how you draw the curve. You will not use a ruler and join points one after the other. That is not allowed. You have to draw a curve, and that is why I told you, since your curve will be different from someone else's curve, the value of median, lower quartile, all those answers which you find can differ slightly from student to student. It won't be that someone got the answer as 50 and someone else is getting 20. That is not possible. It may vary very slightly because this curve, make sure that it doesn't go down like this. It should be a smooth curve. You will get it with practice. It should not go down like that. It should be a smooth ascending curve. Once you draw 2-3 graphs and you do 2-3 sums in homework, it will be very simple. So this is first thing that you are supposed to draw. That is, get the graph of x-axis class interval wages in rupees and y-axis number of workers cumulative frequency. So once you plot this, we will see one term which you have to find using this graph. So now here we have n is 180. So to find the median, we have to find 160 upon 2. That is the 80th term. So there are 160 workers in all, and what is the wage corresponding to the 80th worker? So from 80, y-axis is showing workers. So from 80, I draw a dotted line. It should be a dotted line. It should reach the curve. Since I went in this direction, I am showing the arrow. And from there, I go down to the x-axis. And on the x-axis, since I have gone down, I am showing a down arrow. Now this point, that is the value of median. So that is Q2. So the median is not 80, it is rupees 35. So that's the median. So now the next question is, find the percentage of workers who got rupees 45 or more. So 45. Now first of all look at rupees 45. Where is rupees 45? Y-axis is workers, x-axis is rupees. So don't look here. You have to look, rupee 45 is here, exactly between 40 and 50. So exactly between 40 and 50. Just think about it. When you do the first graph, don't just plot the graph and finish it off. Think and understand what you're doing. So 45 exactly between 40 and 50. From there, you draw a vertical line up. So now in this case, since you're going up from 45, so you draw the vertical line up. And as I told you, I've already marked A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H like this. So now from here, I will draw a horizontal line to the y-axis. So here I will mark the arrow this way. because I went from 45 to this point. So now this point you will get either 110 or 112 or 114. Now that would differ from people to people because someone's graph may be slightly down like this. But I told you, draw a smooth curve. This would be an ascending curve and it would be smooth. So this means if I got the number as 112, that means 0 to 45 rupees, you have 112 workers. Our question is, how many got more than 45 rupees? So we have total number of workers as 160. 160 minus 112, that is 48 workers got rupees 45 or more. So please understand, 0 to 45 is 0 to 112. So less than 45 rupees is 112 workers. So total number of workers 160 minus 112, that 48 workers got rupees 45 or more. Now you are not asked the absolute value, you are asked the percentage. So to find the percentage number of workers getting above rupees 45, what you would do, total 48 upon total number of workers sigma f 160 into 100 to find the percentage. So 0 gets cancelled and this goes exactly 3 times. 16 3s are 48, so it will be 30% workers. So therefore percentage of workers getting above rupees 45, those, the percentage is 30%, even though the absolute number of workers were 160 minus 112, that is 48 workers got above 112 rupees. So you are getting this answer as the answer to the second part. Now you are left with finding the quartiles. What is quartile? 1/4. That means 40th term's value. So how do you find the 40th term's value? What is the amount of rupees that the 40th worker will get? So from 40, from here 40th worker, you draw a straight line, horizontal line, dotted, and from there bring it down to the x-axis. So you will get something like 21 or 22. So mostly you will get 22, something like that. So that is your lower quartile or Q1. That is rupees 22. So that's how you find Q1. And I will write it down. This is what? N upon 4th. 40th, 160 upon 4, 40th workers' wage is rupees 22. Then how do you find upper quartile? That will be 3 into n upon 4. So 3 into 160 upon 4, that would be the 120th worker's wage. So 120th worker, so again worker is on y-axis. Y-axis is giving number of workers. So from 120, draw a line and mark the arrow. It is going towards the curve. And from there, draw a vertical line going down to the x-axis. So from there when you show this is Q3. Q3 would be around rupees 48. So that is your upper quartile. In your graph you are supposed to mark all this: Q3 rupees 48, Q2 rupees 35, Q1 rupees 22. All these things have to be marked. And all this writing work is on the ruled page. In your exam, it will be on the main answer sheet, whereas the graph would be separate. Now graph has to be drawn with pencil and ruler. Of course, this curve you cannot draw with ruler, it is a freehand curve. So that is all with pencil and ruler. Even the scale has to be written on the top right hand corner, not anywhere where you feel. Don't write the scale here under the graph and tell that you have written the scale. Teachers will look there. So you have to write the scale at the top right hand corner of the page, and all this has to be shown. So now I will just show you the working. That is, when you are doing quartile, lower quartile or Q1. Fortieth term is rupees 22. So here lower quartile, that is 40th term, 40th worker, rupees 22, that has been shown. The correct arrow is also shown. Upper quartile 3n by 4, n was 160, so the 120th term. So from 120th worker, we find what is his wage. It comes to rupees 48. So upper quartile is not 120, huh? It is the 120th term's value. So it comes to rupees 48. Now the next is interquartile range, because fourth part they have asked you to find interquartile range. So that is Q3 minus Q1. So it is not the 120 minus 40. It is Q3 value 48 minus Q1 value 22. So 48 minus 22, that is rupees 26. Semi-interquartile is not asked. So don't write what is not asked. So if it was asked, it would have been 26 upon 2 or rupees 13. So this is a typical graph, and generally something like this is only asked where you are asked generally not more than 3 questions. One question obviously asked is to find the median. What does the median denote? The middle, at the center of all the 160 workers. What is the value of the 80th worker's wage? We are told about the wages of workers. So the 80th worker, the one who is in the entire group, the least paid, the middle paid, average paid, and the highest paid. So when you have arranged them in groups of ascending order, after that, the 80th worker, which happens at the middle, is getting 35 rupees. And then the lower quartile is the 40th worker, or 1/4 of the total data. So that worker is getting less than the median, so it is rupees 22. And the upper quartile, that means 3/4 of the entire 160 workers. So 120th worker, his wage obviously has to be more than median. So he is getting rupees 48, that is the 120th worker's wage. So this is statistics. The entire chapter is called Measures of Central Tendency, that is statistics, to give an idea or picture of what are the wages, some data which is interpreted in the form of graphs. So with this, I will show you how this graph is exactly drawn, so that when you draw the graph on your graph paper, you have an idea of how exactly what you will show on the x-axis, y-axis, how the curve would be, and where the points would be. So I will show you the actual graph now. So see here on the graph paper, x-axis and y-axis are plotted. Intersection of x and y is the origin. Then you have 2 centimeter on the x-axis, 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, that way. X-axis clearly shown x and class interval. Y-axis and x-axis class interval is wages. So that is also written there. On the y-axis, cumulative frequency. Here number of workers is written. You can write this here also, number of workers, like I had shown on the board. Now you have plotting the points A, B, C, D, E. Either you write A, B, C, D, E, and then in the ruled page you write what is A, what is B, what is C, like I had shown. Or you can directly write the coordinates. Here in the graph itself you can write the coordinates. Then here they have shown you all the points, that is 80th worker, that is the median. So median is Q2, mark there, rupees 35. Then 40th worker, that is Q1, that is the lower quartile, that is rupees 22. It is shown here. It is shown here, it is also going to be written in the ruled page. Then 1/20th worker, dotted line, arrow shown. 1/20th worker, rupees 48, that is upper quartile. So that is also shown here. So lower quartile, median, upper quartile, all that is shown. Then 45, this is 45. Exactly between 40 and 50, you have 45. So now the arrow is going up and you are seeing the number 100, 120. Exactly in between 100 and 120 is 110. This is one line above 110. So one line is 2. I had explained in the board that each line is 2, 110, 112, 114, 116, 118 and then 120. So this is 112. So 45th worker, rupees 45 is 112 worker. So 112 workers are getting between 0 and 45 rupees. So the rest 160 minus 112, that is 48 workers, will get more than rupees 45. Scale is written. So all this has to be shown in your graph. This is exactly how you will draw and plot the graph. This is your typical ogive graph. So we will do the next sum next. Now I am doing page 53, question 12, because that's another very simple question and it's asked in the boards. So the board questions are extremely straightforward and simple. So you are given class interval and number of students. The class interval denotes marks and number of students denotes the frequency. So as I told you, the next thing you have to do is find the cumulative frequency. So first is 5. 5 plus 11 is 16. 16 plus 10, 26. 26 plus 20, 46. 46 plus 28, 74. 74 plus 37, 111. 111 plus 40, 151. 151 plus 29, 180. 180 plus 14, 194. And 194 plus 6, 200. So sigma f or n is 200, that is even. So there are even number of terms in this. So when you find the median will be value of 200 by 2 or 100 term. So now we have to plot these points. Upper limit of the class interval 10 with corresponding cumulative frequency 5, 20 with 16, 30 with 26, 40 with 46 and so on. The last would be 100 with 200. Now I had told you earlier that this is all known as less than ogive. All this is less than ogive. Now I'll explain 10 marks. How many students are there? 5. So 5 students got less than 10 marks. Now next, less than 20 marks. It is not just 11. It is 11 plus the previous 5. So 16. So less than 20 marks, 16 students in that entire group got less than 20 marks. Same way, less than 30 marks, it is not just this 10, but 10, 11 and 5. That is 26. So less than 30, 26 students. Less than 30 marks, 26 students. Similarly, anywhere, less than 70 marks, 151 students got less than 70 marks. Less than 80 marks, 180 students got less than 80 marks. 194 students got less than 100 marks. And obviously, the entire class, 194 students got less than 90 marks. And obviously, the entire class, that is all the 200 students, are getting less than 100 or equal to 100 marks. So that is why this is called less than graph. So looking here, you can say less than 60 marks, 111 students. Out of the total 200 students, less than 60 marks is 111 students. Less than 90 marks is 194 students. So that's why it is called a less than ogive. I have plotted this again. X-axis is class interval marks written there. Y-axis is cumulative frequency, number of students shown there. And in this case, The scale is mentioned in the question. Many times in the board question, the scale is mentioned. If the scale is mentioned in the board question, you are not supposed to take some other scale and draw the graph. If you do that, you will lose marks. You will definitely lose marks for the graph. For example, if this graph is 6 marks, there are 3 questions, 1 mark each, and 3 marks would be to draw the graph. So if your scale itself you have not taken what is given, you will directly lose 2 marks for that. So don't let that happen, read the question carefully. If scale is given, use that scale. Now the scale in this graph is such that you have to use the entire graph margin to margin, which means that white patch you leave, up and down the white patch you leave, and then immediately above the white patch and immediately on the side of the white patch you will draw x and y axis. If you count, there are 10 columns on the x-axis and there are 10 columns on the y-axis. If you take end to end, I will show you on the graph what I mean, but you have to take it as per what I will show you on the graph. Otherwise, after drawing, you will find that what happens is that you can only show till 90. The last one number you cannot fit. Same way here 20, 40, 60, 80, you will see that you will only be able to show till 180. 200 will not fit. So you have to use the line immediately above the white patch down, and you will have to use the line immediately besides the white patch on the y-axis. So if you don't do that, the sum will not fit. This last column will not come. Then you will have to waste your time erasing and doing it. So before you draw, think. See, ideally this graph is 6 marks. So in your board exam, 80 marks paper has to be finished in 150 minutes. So for 6 marks, you get approximately 11 minutes. 10 to 11 minutes to finish the graph along with the answers. Initially when you start drawing, it may take you 20-25 minutes. Understood? But with practice, once you have drawn 6-7 graph, you should be able to time it between 10 to 12 minutes. Maths paper, very important to time the paper. If you do not time the paper, then you will not finish the paper. Even the board paper, there are many students who say that we finished the paper 10 minutes in advance, or we finished it just 5 minutes before and we finished it properly. That means no extra questions, the required number of questions. There will be, and there are every year, 2-3 students who will tell that I couldn't finish 3 marks or I couldn't finish 6 marks. That should not happen. You have to pace yourself properly. So now here I have plotted the points again. 10 lines is 20. So each small line in between will be 2. So 0, then 2, 4, 6, 8, exactly at the center, 10, then 12, 13, 14, 16, 18 and 20. So you have to understand what is one small line. 20 is 10 small lines, so one small line is 2. So you plot the points A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I and J, and once you have plotted the point, as I told you, you will not use a ruler to join the points. You will draw a freehand curve like this. And then you will name the points A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H like this. Like I told you, either you name it or write the coordinates. Either of it is possible. Now, to find the median. Median, there are 200, so 200 upon 2, n by 2, 100 term. So 100 students, how much marks? 100 student got how much marks? That is what we have to see. So the 100 student dotted line, and from there down so that is the 100 student. So that 100 student, it looks like it is 56 or 57. So you can write it 56 or 57, whatever you got. I told you this is a steep curve. Even if the curve is slightly out like this, your answer will vary slightly, but that is accepted. Someone who got 56 will also get full marks. Then you will write in the answer sheet that the 100 term is 57 and 57 x-axis is marks. So that is one answer or the first answer. Next, 40 marks. 40 marks, how many students? So they are asking you how many students failed if 40 is the passing mark. So from 40, draw a line vertically up. So 40, you know, it is everyone's answer will be the same because less than 40 marks, 46 students. So in this case, you can't have two answers. 40 is directly plotted with 46. So everyone will get the same point. So that is 40 corresponding to D and D is 46. So in this case, 46 students have failed. That will be 3 lines above 40. So you will show 40 marks is equal to 46 students. Now why this answer can't be different for different people? It has nothing to do with the curve. It is the direct point that is plotted. Less than 40 marks, 46 students. So this 46 students have failed. So here you mark 46 and you have shown the arrow. So therefore you will write, therefore 46 students failed. Or in other words, got less than 40 marks. So now who passed? The rest of them. 200 minus 46. So 200 minus 46 or 154 students would have passed. So understand this. This is very important because when they tell you to find how many passed or failed, less than 40 will be those 46 students they failed. And above 40 marks is the remaining students, that is 200 minus 46, 154 students they passed. So when you're drawing this, please understand what you're doing. And the last question there is, if 85 marks and more is considered as grade 1, then 85 marks. So 85 is exactly between 80 and 90. 85 marks is grade 1. So from 85 draw a vertical line up. Now this will vary because you have plotted 80 and 180, 90 and 194. There is no 85 plotted for direct. So you will see 80, 85 is now vertical line dotted, and from 85 then 85 is corresponding to its, obviously it's going to be after 180 and before 194. So when you see this, whatever the answer that you have got, in this case you are getting 188. The number is corresponding to 188. That means below 85 marks there are 188 students. So the rest of them, 200 minus 188 or 12 students, they got grade 1 because they got more than 85 marks. So that would be the third answer. 85 marks corresponds to 188 students. Therefore, 200 minus 188 or 12 students score above 85 marks, that is grade 1. So that is the solution to the 12th sum. Now the same sum, I will show you the graph, so that once you draw it and when you draw it, you can see whether the points that you have plotted is all right. So these two sums you do, and for homework, you can try one simple graph. I will give you a board question itself for homework which you can try. You can definitely try homework question number that 8 on page 55. That's a very simple question. You can try that. I'll show you the graph now, the actual graph of question 12 class work. Please draw it on the graph page and write this on the ruled page besides the graph page. And whichever sum you're doing, write the question number so that for further reference later, you know which graph and which question it is. So on both the pages, write question number 12. So in this case, this is class work question 12. So write that even when you are doing the sums. So now I'll show the graph on the graph page. So this is what I told, that you draw the x-axis just above the white patch. If you don't, many of you have a tendency to draw it here. You leave a line and then you draw it. Similarly, y-axis, you leave the patch and immediately you draw. Otherwise, your 10, 20, you will only fit till 90. 100 will not come in that. So that should not happen. Here, you have to take it from the extreme end. Same way on top. If you take it up, then you will only fit till 180. 200 will not come. So now how to plot the points? After you write the scale, what you have taken on x-axis CF, number of students, marks, class interval, how to plot the points? 10 with 5. Now 5 is where it is between the second and the third line. This is 20. There are 10 lines between 20. So each small line is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So now it will be between 4 and 6. So you will take the something between second and third line. So this is your first point, that is 10, 5. Next is 20, 16. 16 will be where 2 lines below 20 is 16. So this is your 16. 2 lines below 20. Then 26 will be where 30 with 26 you have to plot. So 3 lines above 20. 20, 22, 24 and 26. 3 lines above 20 is 26. Then you have to do 46. 46 is 40, 42, 44, 46. 3 lines above 40. Then next is 74. 74 will be below 80, 6 lines. 60, 80 minus 6. So 3 lines below 80, not 6. 3 lines below 80. That is 74. 50 with 74. Next is 60 with 111. 100 is here. 110 is here. Exactly between that line is visible. Then somewhere between 110 and 111, 112 you can show 111. It is approximate. Then the next is 70 with 151. 70, 140. This is 70. If you are getting confused and your lines sometimes getting plotted wrong, then keep a line or a ruler on 70 so that you don't go wrong. So you keep the ruler there and then you see 150 here. So just above 150, 151. Sometimes what happens, you end up plotting it here, one before. So then the entire graph goes wrong. Addition has to be proper. 80 with 180, that is simple. This is 160, this is the 80 line. This is 160 and this is 180. 90 with 194, 90, 190, 180, 190 is exactly in the center and 194 is 2 lines above that. So that is 194 and the last is 100 with 200. Now after you draw that, you have to show a smooth curve. Now how to draw a smooth curve? I'm just turning it so that I can conveniently draw it. Yes, and you can join them. So that's the curve. You need not overwrite, overdraw anything. With a good ruler, you can draw it. Then after that, you have to plot the other points like I have shown. This would be the median line. From the median line, you are finding what is so approximately from there you show the arrow. So 100 term value around 57. So write here 57 and write the Q2. That means 57 marks is Q2. Then you were asked in this case students who failed if 40 was the passing mark. So that I told you, you can't get two different answers. So from here that is a point plotted. So 40 will tally with 46. So 40 with 46. And then you have who got grade 1. 85 marks and above is grade 1. So from 85, draw the graph. And that you show there. So it corresponds here. So from there you have shown this. That comes to around 188. That means 188 children got less than 85 marks. So 85 where it corresponds from there, from that point you have to draw the line to the y-axis. Since it is 188, so those 12 students, 200 minus 188, those 12 students got grade 1. So this is how you plot the graph. Write what you took on x-axis, write what you took on y-axis, mark this as 85, show this as 40, and show this where you got Q2 or median as 57. Show the scale. For this you get 6 marks.